Have you ever thought that a warm bowl of oatmeal, something many people call the golden breakfast for heart health, could quietly harm your body if it's prepared the wrong way? In India, especially for those over 60, oatmeal has become a common choice in the morning. Many believe that starting the day with oatmeal is a simple way to take care of the heart, the digestive system, and overall long-term health. But the truth is, oatmeal is not always harmless. I know it sounds strange. Oatmeal is praised for its fiber, its ability to stabilize blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and support digestion. But like many other healthy foods, just a few mistakes in the way we cook or store it can take away its benefits and even turn it into a source of inflammation, increasing the risk of chronic diseases and, over time, even cancer. Picture a morning in any city or village in India. Inside a small kitchen, the aroma of oats cooking with milk rises gently in the air. An elderly gentleman in Delhi or a grandmother in Kerala stirs a pot of oatmeal slowly over the gas stove. For them, this is a habit they cannot give up. It's simple, affordable, and even recommended by doctors. But there's one thing many people don't realize: the way we prepare, store, and eat oatmeal can decide whether it's protecting our health or quietly damaging it. Science has shown that there are 4 common mistakes people over 60 often make with oatmeal. These mistakes might sound small: reheating leftovers, adding too much sugar, cooking at very high temperatures, or using artificial sweeteners instead of sugar. But the problem lies in repeating them every single day. Our bodies at this age already process inflammation and toxins more slowly, so these small habits can build up into serious health risks. Think about it. You start the morning with the intention of eating healthy. You believe you're doing the best thing for your body. But just because of a little missing knowledge, that well-meaning habit could become the hidden reason why your health is slowly declining. In this video, I'll walk you through each of these mistakes one by one. We'll explore why they happen, how they affect your health, and most importantly, how to change them so that oatmeal truly becomes your ally for a stronger heart, sharper mind, and healthier digestion. In each part, I'll share real-life stories from older adults here in India, so you can see that these changes are not difficult, and the results can be surprisingly quick. So let's begin with the very first mistake, one that I believe many people are making every single day without realizing it. This is the mistake of reheating leftover oatmeal. In many Indian households, it is common to make a large pot of oatmeal in the morning. Maybe it's because you want to save time during the week, or you believe it's more economical to cook in bulk. You might think, why not make enough for 2 or 3 days, keep it in the fridge and just reheat it each morning? It sounds harmless, even practical. But for those of us over 60, this habit can quietly create a chain of health problems that are easy to overlook until they become serious. Let's first understand why reheating leftover oatmeal is not as safe as it seems. Oatmeal itself is made from wholesome ingredients: rolled oats or steel-cut oats, water or milk, maybe a pinch of jaggery or a sprinkle of cinnamon. The oats themselves are not the problem. The trouble begins when oatmeal is stored for too long, especially if it contains milk, cream, or sugar, and then is reheated the wrong way. When oatmeal is left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours, it becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria. In India, where the average room temperature can easily be above 25 degrees, this process happens even faster than in colder countries. If you store oatmeal in the fridge for too long, say more than 24 to 36 hours, oxidation starts to occur. This is a chemical process where fats and proteins in the oats begin to break down, affecting both taste and safety. Now, when you reheat this oatmeal, especially in a high-powered microwave, two things can happen. First, you may not kill all the bacteria if the heating is uneven. Second, and more importantly, the combination of sugar protein and high heat can create harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products or AGEs. These are molecules formed when proteins or fats combine with sugars under high heat. Why should this matter to you? Because AGEs are well known for promoting inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation has been linked to serious health conditions, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and even certain cancers. For older adults, inflammation is already harder to control because our immune system becomes less efficient with age. Adding more AGEs through reheated food is like adding fuel to a slow-burning fire. Let me share with you the story of Mr. Ramesh, a 72-year-old retired railway officer from Pune. Ramesh lived alone after his wife passed away. He took pride in being self-sufficient, cooking his own meals, and managing his expenses carefully. Every Monday morning, he would prepare a large pot of oatmeal with milk, store it in the fridge, and reheat a bowl each morning in the microwave. It saved him time and effort, or so he thought. Over the months, Ramesh began noticing bloating, mild stomach pain, and occasional diarrhea. He felt more tired than usual, even though he was eating what he believed was a healthy diet. His blood sugar levels also started creeping up. Several doctor visits and lab tests later, there was no obvious cause. Then, during a nutrition counseling session, the dietitian asked about his cooking habits. When Ramesh described his oatmeal routine, the dietitian explained how reheating leftovers, especially with milk, could contribute to his digestive troubles and increase inflammation. Ramesh decided to try a small change. Instead of cooking for the whole week, he prepared a fresh, single serving each morning. On days when he was busy, he made overnight oats, soaking raw oats in milk and a little honey overnight in the fridge so they were ready to eat cold in the morning. Within a few weeks, his digestion improved, his energy returned, and his blood sugar readings stabilized. It was a simple adjustment, but it made a big difference. So, what can we learn from Ramesh's story? Here are a few practical tips you can apply right away. 1. Cook only what you need for one meal. This is the safest and healthiest approach. It may take an extra 10 minutes in the morning, but it ensures your oatmeal is fresh and full of nutrients. 2. If you must store oatmeal, do it correctly. Transfer it into an airtight container immediately after cooking. Do not leave it out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. Place it in the refrigerator promptly, ideally within 1 hour. 3. Use it within 24 hours. The longer cooked oatmeal sits in the fridge, the greater the risk of bacterial growth and oxidation. 4. Reheat gently on the stovetop. Avoid microwaving at full power. Instead, warm your oatmeal over low to medium heat, adding a little water or milk to keep it from drying out. Stir constantly to ensure even heating. 5. Try no reheat options. Overnight oats are not only convenient, but also more digestible for some people. You can mix oats with milk, yogurt, or even coconut water, add fresh fruit or nuts, and let them soften overnight. In the morning, you have a cold, refreshing breakfast ready to eat. You might be wondering, but people have been reheating food for generations. Why is this suddenly a problem? The answer is that in earlier times, people didn't store food in the same way we do now. In villages, food was usually cooked and eaten the same day. Refrigerators were not common and the portions were smaller. Today, our convenience-driven habits and modern appliances have changed how we store and heat food, and not always for the better. There's another aspect to consider. As we age, our stomach produces less acid, making it harder to kill harmful bacteria that enter through food. This means that what might not affect a younger person could cause digestive distress or illness in someone over 60. By avoiding the reheating of leftover oatmeal, you're not just protecting your digestion. You're reducing the daily load of inflammatory compounds entering your body. Over weeks and months, this can have a noticeable effect on your overall energy, your joint comfort, and even your skin health. In the bigger picture, this is about more than just oatmeal. It's about learning that small, consistent choices in food preparation can add years of healthy living. The habit of cooking fresh and eating fresh may seem old-fashioned, but for our generation, it's one of the simplest ways to maintain vitality. So the next time you think about making a big batch of oatmeal to reheat later, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is saving a few minutes today worth risking my health tomorrow? If the answer is no, you already know the better choice. Now that we've explored the first mistake and its hidden dangers, let's move on to the second one, a mistake that can turn your healthy bowl of oatmeal into a sugar-laden trap for your blood vessels and your pancreas. For many people, oatmeal is not complete until it has been sweetened. In Indian kitchens, that might mean adding a spoon or two of white sugar, a generous drizzle of honey, a dollop of jaggery, or even a splash of flavored syrups. Some people use condensed milk to give it a creamy sweetness, while others stir in fruit jams. The intention is simple: make the oatmeal more enjoyable. After all, we eat with our taste buds first. But here's the problem. Oatmeal in its natural form already contains complex carbohydrates. These break down into glucose slowly during digestion, providing steady energy without spiking blood sugar. When we load it with refined sugar or high glycemic sweeteners, we completely change the way it affects the body. Instead of slow, steady energy, we create a rapid surge in blood glucose. For younger people with a strong metabolism, the body may handle these spikes more efficiently. But for those of us over 60, it's a different story. With age, the pancreas may not produce insulin as quickly or as effectively. This means sugar remains in the bloodstream longer, which can damage blood vessels, nerves, and vital organs. Repeated sugar spikes over time can lead to insulin resistance, where the body's cells no longer respond well to insulin. This is the gateway to type 2 diabetes, a condition that already affects millions of older adults in India. Let's break this down further. When you eat a large amount of sugar at once, your pancreas releases a lot of insulin to push that sugar into your cells. Over the years, your cells can become tired of listening to insulin's signal. This makes it harder to control blood sugar levels, and high sugar levels become the new normal. Along with this comes chronic inflammation, a silent process that damages tissues, accelerates aging, and increases the risk of heart disease, kidney problems, and even cancer, especially of the pancreas and colon. You might be thinking, but I use jaggery, not white sugar. Isn't that healthier? Jaggery does contain trace minerals like iron, magnesium, and potassium, but it is still mostly sugar. Your body processes it in a similar way, and it still causes a spike in blood glucose. The same applies to honey and maple syrup. While they offer some antioxidants, they also contain high levels of simple sugars. Let me share the story of Mrs. Shalini, a 68-year-old grandmother from Delhi. Every morning, she would make a large bowl of oatmeal for herself, adding 3 teaspoons of brown sugar and a splash of sweetened condensed milk. She believed she was eating a heart-healthy breakfast because oats are good for cholesterol. But by mid-morning, she often felt tired, sometimes even shaky, and needed another snack to feel better. During her annual checkup, her doctor noticed that her fasting blood sugar had increased significantly compared to the previous year. When she mentioned her breakfast routine, the doctor explained how even a healthy food like oatmeal could become harmful if loaded with sugar. Shalini was shocked. She thought sugar was harmless in the morning since she was active during the day. Following her doctor's advice, Shalini started reducing the sugar in her oatmeal gradually. She replaced the condensed milk with plain milk, swapped the brown sugar for fresh banana slices, and added a sprinkle of cinnamon for flavor. Within a month, she noticed her mid-morning fatigue disappearing. At her next checkup, her blood sugar levels had improved and she felt more energetic throughout the day. So how can we enjoy oatmeal without turning it into a dessert disguised as breakfast? Here are a few practical tips. Use fruit for natural sweetness. Sliced bananas, ripe mango chopped apples or seasonal berries add sweetness along with fiber vitamins and antioxidants. These nutrients help slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. 2. Add spices for flavor. Cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, and even a pinch of saffron can enhance flavor without raising blood sugar. Cinnamon, in particular, may help improve insulin sensitivity. 3. Avoid pre-sweetened oatmeal packets. Many instant oatmeal products in the market are loaded with sugar, artificial flavors, and preservatives. They may taste good, but they undo most of the health benefits of oats. 4. Balance with protein and healthy fat. Adding nuts like almonds, walnuts, or pistachios, or a spoon of unsweetened peanut butter can slow digestion and prevent sugar spikes. Protein-rich toppings like Greek yogurt also work well. 5. Reduce sugar gradually. If you're used to a very sweet bowl of oatmeal, cutting all sugar at once might be difficult. Instead, reduce it by half, then by half again, giving your taste buds time to adjust. The truth is, our taste preferences can change. What feels not sweet enough today can taste perfectly fine in a few weeks. Many older adults who switch to natural sweeteners find they start enjoying the natural flavor of oats and toppings more than the sugar itself. It's also worth remembering that India has one of the highest rates of diabetes in the world, and much of it is linked to our love for sweetened foods and beverages. By making your morning oatmeal less sugary, you're not just protecting yourself from a sugar crash. Later in the day, you're actively reducing your risk of developing serious chronic diseases. In Ayurveda, there's a saying, Madhura Rasa. The sweet taste is nourishing when balanced, but harmful when excessive. The modern science behind it is clear. A little sweetness is fine, but too much harms the body over time. So the next time you prepare your oatmeal, think of it as a canvas. You can still make it delicious, but instead of painting it with sugar, try using the colors of fresh fruit, nuts, seeds, and spices. Not only will it look more appetizing, but it will also nourish your body in the way oatmeal was meant to. By making this one small change, you can keep your oatmeal as the heart-healthy, diabetes-friendly breakfast it's meant to be, rather than letting it become a daily sugar trap. And when you start the day without that big sugar spike, you'll notice you have steadier energy, clearer thinking, and better control over your appetite. Now that we've tackled the issue of sugar, it's time to move on to the third mistake, one that's less about what you put into your oatmeal and more about how you cook it. This is the mistake of cooking oatmeal at excessively high temperatures, which can quietly damage its nutritional value and create harmful compounds. Making a bowl of oatmeal seems simple, doesn't it? Put oats in water or milk, bring it to a boil. Stir for a few minutes, and you're done. Many people in India, especially those who prefer a quick breakfast, tend to cook it fast, either turning the gas stove to full flame or putting the bowl in the microwave at maximum power. The idea is to save time, especially in the morning rush. But here's what most people don't realize. Cooking oatmeal at excessively high temperatures can damage its nutrients, alter its natural structure, and even create harmful compounds in the process. For older adults, this can mean not only losing the health benefits of oats, but also exposing the body to substances that increase inflammation and accelerate aging. Let's talk about what actually happens when oats are cooked too hot. Oats contain natural sugars and amino acids. When these are exposed to very high heat, like boiling water vigorously for several minutes or microwaving at full power with little liquid, they undergo something called the Maillard reaction. This is the same process that gives bread its golden crust or roasted coffee its aroma. In small, controlled amounts, the Maillard reaction can enhance flavor. But when pushed too far, it leads to the creation of advanced glycation end products AGEs. We've talked about AGEs before. These are harmful compounds that trigger inflammation damage, collagen and elastin in the skin and joints, and are linked to chronic conditions such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. The more AGEs you consume, the more stress your body experiences at a cellular level. For someone over 60 whose body is already dealing with natural age-related inflammation, adding extra AGEs through cooking methods can speed up wear and tear. Another problem with cooking oatmeal too hot is nutrient loss. Oats are rich in beta-glucans, special soluble fibers that help lower cholesterol and support immune function. Excessive heat can damage these fibers, reducing their cholesterol-lowering effect. Minerals like magnesium and certain B vitamins can also be lost when cooking temperatures are too high for too long. Let me share the story of Mr. Anil, a 70-year-old retired teacher from Chennai. Anil had a morning routine that was as precise as his teaching days. He would put his oats in a large microwave-safe bowl, add milk, and set the microwave to full power for 2 minutes. It was fast, efficient, and gave him time for his morning newspaper. He had been doing this for over a decade. Over the years, Anil started noticing stiffness in his knees and fingers. His skin also seemed to be aging faster, more wrinkles, less elasticity. During a routine checkup, his doctor found signs of low-grade inflammation in his blood tests. Anil was puzzled. He ate healthily, walked every day, and maintained a good weight. When a dietitian reviewed his meal prep habits, she pointed out that his high-heat microwave method could be increasing AGEs in his diet. She suggested he try cooking oats on the stovetop at a gentle simmer, or if he used the microwave to lower the power setting and extend the cooking time. Skeptical but willing to try, Anil changed his method. He cooked his oats on low to medium flame, adding enough water to keep them soft and stirring often. After a few weeks, he noticed subtle changes. His oatmeal tasted creamier and more flavorful. Over the months, his stiffness eased slightly and his skin regained some of its softness. His follow-up blood tests showed a small but meaningful drop in inflammation markers. So, how can you avoid the high-temperature trap? Use low to medium heat on the stovetop. For rolled oats, a ratio of 2 cups of water or milk to 1 cup of oats works well. Bring it to a gentle simmer, not a rapid boil, and stir occasionally. 2. If using steel-cut oats, give them more time. Steel-cut oats take longer to cook, usually 20 to 30 minutes, but keeping the heat moderate preserves nutrients and prevents excess AGEs from forming. 3. In the microwave, reduce the power setting. Instead of full power for 2 minutes, try 50 to 70% power for 4 to 5 minutes, stopping every 60 seconds to stir. This ensures even heating without overheating. 4. Add flavor naturally. Cooking slowly allows the oats to absorb the flavor of cinnamon, cardamom, or nutmeg. These spices not only make oatmeal taste better, but also have anti-inflammatory properties. 5. Keep enough liquid in the pot. Cooking oats with too little liquid causes them to dry out and heat unevenly, which can increase the risk of scorching and nutrient loss. Why does this matter so much for seniors in India? Because we already face higher risks of joint issues, heart disease, and skin aging as we grow older. Many of these issues are connected to chronic inflammation, something ages contribute to heavily. Cooking oatmeal gently is a simple way to reduce this daily burden. Think about it this way. If you could make one tiny change to your breakfast that might improve your joint comfort, protect your heart, and keep your skin healthier, wouldn't it be worth the extra few minutes? The truth is, good health in our 60s, 70s, and beyond often comes from the small repeated habits we choose every day. Ayurveda also values gentle cooking. Traditional porridge recipes, whether made from rice, wheat, or millet, are usually cooked slowly, sometimes for hours, to bring out flavor and make them easier to digest. Oatmeal deserves the same respect. So the next time you prepare your oats, resist the urge to turn the flame high or set the microwave to maximum. Give the oats time to soften, to absorb the flavors, and to preserve their goodness. This way, you're not just eating breakfast, you're giving your body the best version of a food that can truly support your health. Now that we've learned about the dangers of cooking oats at high temperatures, let's move to the fourth and final mistake. This one is especially relevant for people who avoid sugar and think they're making a healthy choice, but end up using something that can be just as harmful: artificial sweeteners. In recent years, many people have become more aware of the dangers of too much sugar. Doctors talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. News articles warn about obesity and metabolic problems. For older adults in India, this message has been repeated again and again: cut down on sugar. And so, in an effort to make healthier choices, some have turned to artificial sweeteners. These come in many forms: little white tablets that dissolve in your tea or coffee, colorful packets with names like aspartame, saccharin, or sucralose, or even drops from small bottles that promise sweetness without calories. It feels like a clever solution: keep the sweet taste you love, but avoid the harmful effects of sugar. On the surface, it seems perfect. But the truth is more complicated. Artificial sweeteners may help reduce calorie intake in the short term, but over time, they can disrupt important systems in the body, especially the gut microbiome. The gut microbiome is the community of trillions of bacteria that live in your digestive system. They help break down food, produce vitamins, regulate the immune system, and even influence mood and brain function. In Ayurveda, the concept of Agni, the digestive fire, is considered the root of health. Modern science now confirms that a healthy gut is the foundation for overall well-being. Artificial sweeteners are chemically different from natural sugars. They are designed to pass through the digestive system without being fully absorbed. But as they move through the gut, they can alter the balance of good and bad bacteria. This imbalance, called dysbiosis, can increase inflammation, weaken immunity, and even lead to digestive discomfort like bloating, gas, and irregular bowel movements. Let me tell you about Mrs. Lakshmi, a 65-year-old retired bank officer from Hyderabad. She was diagnosed with prediabetes and decided to be strict about her sugar intake. Every morning, she made oatmeal with milk and added a small packet of artificial sweetener. She believed she was doing the right thing: oats for fiber, no sugar, to protect her blood sugar levels. After a few years, Lakshmi started experiencing frequent bloating and discomfort after meals. Her energy levels dropped and she had more joint pain than before. Her doctor ran tests which showed increased markers of inflammation. When she met with a dietitian, they reviewed her eating habits in detail. That's when the daily artificial sweetener habit came into focus. The dietitian explained that for some people, artificial sweeteners can trigger changes in gut bacteria, leading to more inflammation and even making it harder to control blood sugar in the long run. Lakshmi was shocked. She had avoided sugar for years to protect her health, only to learn that her substitute might be harming her in another way. With guidance, Lakshmi switched to natural flavorings. She began sweetening her oatmeal with sliced bananas, a handful of raisins, or chopped dates. She also added spices like cinnamon and cardamom for extra aroma. Within 2 months, her bloating reduced significantly, her digestion felt lighter, and her energy improved. So, if you've been using artificial sweeteners in your oatmeal, what are your better options? 1. Use fresh fruit. Bananas, apples, papayas, and seasonal Indian fruits like chiku or guava can add natural sweetness along with fiber and antioxidants. These help slow the release of sugar into the blood. 2. Add dried fruit in moderation. A few chopped dates, figs, or raisins can provide sweetness, but remember they are concentrated sources of sugar, so keep the portions small. 3. Flavor with spices. Cinnamon, nutmeg, saffron, and cardamom can make oatmeal taste richer without adding sugar. Some of these spices, like cinnamon, may also help improve blood sugar control. 4. Use a small amount of jaggery or honey if needed. While they are still sugars, they also contain trace minerals. The key is to use very little, just enough to bring out the flavors of the oats and toppings. 5. Try coconut milk or almond milk. These can give oatmeal a naturally sweet and creamy taste without needing extra sugar. Another hidden risk of artificial sweeteners is that they can confuse the brain's natural appetite control. Your body tastes sweetness but doesn't get the expected calories. This mismatch can make you crave more food later in the day, sometimes leading to overeating. For someone trying to manage weight or blood sugar, this can work against your goals. It's also important to remember that artificial sweeteners are relatively new in human history. We don't yet know all the long-term effects of consuming them daily for decades, especially for people over 60, whose metabolism and immune system are already changing with age. In the Indian context, we also have a rich tradition of naturally sweet foods, from ripe mangoes to tender coconut water, from sweet pumpkin to carrots. When used mindfully, these can satisfy the desire for sweetness while also nourishing the body. Think about it. Our grandparents didn't have artificial sweeteners, yet they enjoyed sweet flavors from nature in moderation. Their diets were often more balanced, with fewer processed foods and more seasonal produce. Returning to that approach might be one of the simplest and most effective ways to protect health in our later years. So if you're currently adding artificial sweeteners to your oatmeal, consider making a slow shift. Start by reducing the amount and replacing it with natural sweeteners. Give your taste buds a few weeks to adjust. You may find that you begin to enjoy the true nutty flavor of oats and the aroma of spices more than the artificial sweetness you've grown used to. In the end, oatmeal should be a gentle, nourishing food that supports your health, not one that silently contributes to inflammation and digestive problems. By choosing natural sweetness and avoiding artificial additives, you give your body the best chance to thrive. Now that we've gone through all 4 common mistakes: reheating leftovers, adding too much sugar, cooking at excessively high temperatures, and using artificial sweeteners, it's time to put everything together. In the final part, we'll review what we've learned and see how a few simple changes can keep oatmeal as the heart-friendly, brain-boosting breakfast it's meant to be. We have now reached the end of this journey through a simple bowl of oatmeal, a food that is loved and trusted by millions of people, including many seniors in India. Along the way, we have discovered that even the healthiest foods can lose their benefits and sometimes even harm us if we are not careful in how we prepare, store, and eat them. Let's take a moment to recall the 4 mistakes we explored. First, reheating leftover oatmeal that has been stored too long, especially when it contains milk or sugar. This can lead to bacterial growth, oxidation, and the creation of harmful compounds called ages. Over time, these contribute to inflammation and chronic health problems. Second, adding too much sugar or syrup, whether it is white sugar, brown sugar, jaggery, honey, or condensed milk. Excess sugar causes sharp spikes in blood glucose, puts strain on the pancreas, and increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even some cancers. Third, cooking oatmeal at excessively high temperatures, which damages nutrients, breaks down beta-glucans, and creates more ages. This not only reduces the health benefits of oats, but can also speed up aging in the joint, skin, and blood vessels. And fourth, using artificial sweeteners, thinking they are a safe alternative to sugar. In reality, they can disturb the gut microbiome, increase inflammation, and possibly cause cravings that make weight and blood sugar harder to manage. If you think about it, all 4 mistakes have something in common. They are the result of habits formed over time, often with good intentions, but without full understanding. Most people do not wake up in the morning planning to harm their health. We make choices based on what is quick, convenient, or familiar. And in today's world, with so many ready-made packets, microwaves, and sugar-laden flavors, it's easy to fall into patterns that seem harmless but slowly chip away at our well-being. The good news is that each of these mistakes is easy to fix. None of them require expensive equipment, rare ingredients, or complex recipes. The changes are small, but the benefits can be large, especially if you are over 60, when every healthy choice makes a bigger difference to your quality of life. Here's how you can put what we've learned into action. 1. Cook fresh whenever possible. It may take a little more time, but it ensures your oatmeal is at its best, safe, nutrient-rich, and delicious. 2. Keep sweetness natural and balanced. Use fruit, spices, and a little jaggery or honey only when needed. Let your taste buds rediscover the natural flavor of oats. 3. Cook gently. Avoid high flames or maximum microwave settings. Give your oatmeal the time to cook, slowly preserving its texture, flavor, and nutrients. 4. Choose whole, natural ingredients. Skip the artificial additives and let your oatmeal be as close to its natural form as possible. But beyond the practical tips, there's a deeper lesson here. Food is not just fuel. It is a conversation between your body and your choices. Every ingredient, every cooking method, every habit sends a message to your cells, either one of healing and support or one of stress and strain. At our age, we cannot afford to ignore these messages. In many Indian traditions, breakfast is considered the most important meal of the day because it sets the tone for everything that follows. If you start your morning with something nourishing, your energy is steadier, your mind is clearer, and your mood is calmer. Oatmeal can still be that nourishing start, but only if it is prepared with care and understanding. I often think of my neighbor, Mr. Iyer, who is 74 years old and still walks briskly every morning in the park. He told me once, "It's not one big thing that keeps me healthy. It's hundreds of small things I do every day." One of those small things is how he makes his oatmeal. Fresh every morning, cooked on low heat, sweetened only with fruit, and enjoyed slowly while reading the newspaper. It's not fancy, but it's part of a bigger picture, a lifestyle built on mindful, consistent habits. The same can be true for you. You don't need to give up oatmeal. You just need to give up the habits that turn it from a healer into a hazard. So here is my challenge to you tomorrow morning. When you make your oatmeal, apply just one change from what we've discussed. Maybe you skip the sugar and add banana slices. Maybe you lower the flame and cook it gently. Maybe you make only what you will eat immediately instead of storing leftovers. Start with one change and notice how it feels. Then the next week, add another change. In a month's time, your oatmeal and your health will be very different. Remember, health after 60 is not about chasing perfection. It's about making wiser choices, one meal at a time. The breakfast you eat today becomes the energy for your walk in the evening, the strength for your body tomorrow, and the resilience for your heart and mind in the years to come. So the next time someone tells you oatmeal is the perfect breakfast, you can smile and say, yes, but only if you make it the right way. Because now you know the difference. Before we end, I want to thank you for spending this time with me learning about something as humble as a bowl of oats. Sometimes the most powerful changes come from paying attention to the smallest details. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you care about. Maybe a friend, a neighbor, or a family member who also enjoys oatmeal. Start a conversation. Exchange ideas. Support each other in making better choices. And if you'd like to keep learning with me, remember to subscribe so we can continue exploring simple, science-backed, and culturally relevant ways to live healthier, stronger, and more joyful lives after 60. Until next time, take care of yourself. One spoonful, one habit, one morning at a time.